Look around you. The light hitting your desk, the texture of your skin, the weight of air in your lungs, the sound of your own breathing, the pressure of the ground beneath your feet. It all feels real, solid, physical, undeniable. But what if it is not? What if every atom, every photon, every thought you have ever had is not matter at all, but information? Lines of code executing on a machine so powerful that the simulation it runs is indistinguishable from reality. This is not science fiction. It is a philosophical argument taken seriously by physicists, philosophers, and technologists at the highest levels. Oxford philosopher Nick Bostrom's logic is disarmingly simple. If any civilization ever develops the computing power to simulate conscious minds, they would almost certainly run billions of such simulations. Simulated beings would vastly outnumber real ones, which means, statistically, you are almost certainly one of the simulated. The mathematics do not care about your intuition. They only care about probability. The question is not whether this is possible. The question is whether you would want to know. What if we discovered the universe is a simulation? To understand why this idea has teeth, you need to understand the trajectory of computing. 60 years ago, the most powerful computer on Earth had less processing power than the phone in your pocket. Today, artificial intelligence systems model complex physical systems in real time. We simulate weather patterns, protein folding, the collision of galaxies. The gap between where we are and where we would need to be to simulate a conscious mind is vast. But technology does not care about vast. It only cares about time. If computing power continues to grow at anything close to its historical rate, a civilization a few hundred years more advanced than ours would have the capacity to simulate entire universes down to the subatomic level. Conscious beings would emerge from the complexity the same way they emerged on Earth. Beings who would live and love and wonder about their own existence, never knowing they were lines of code. A single advanced civilization could run millions of such simulations, each populated by billions of conscious beings who believe they are real. The probability of being in base reality approaches zero. And here is what makes it worse. We are already building the foundations ourselves. Every year, our simulations grow more detailed, more immersive, more convincing. Video games render worlds that feel almost real. Neural networks dream images indistinguishable from photographs. We are not far from the point where we create conscious beings of our own, which means, if it is possible at all, someone almost certainly did it first, and we are almost certainly inside their creation rather than outside it. Here is where it gets unsettling. Several features of our universe look suspiciously like the architecture of a simulation. Start with quantum mechanics. Particles do not have definite properties until they are observed. Before measurement, an electron exists as a probability cloud, a smear of possibility. The moment you look at it, it collapses into a single position. This is eerily similar to how a video game engine works. It does not render what you cannot see. It only computes what is being observed. The universe, it seems, is lazy in exactly the way a well-designed simulation would be. Why waste processing power on things no one is looking at? Then there is the speed of light. In a simulated universe, you would need a maximum processing speed, an upper limit on how fast information can travel, so the simulation does not overflow. The speed of light functions exactly like that, a universal bandwidth cap written into the laws of physics. The Planck length, the smallest measurable distance in physics, behaves like a pixel. Below it, space simply stops making sense. Our universe appears to have a resolution. Zoom in far enough, and you hit the edge of what the simulation can render. And then there is the mathematics. The laws of physics are not messy or contingent. They are elegant, symmetrical, expressible in simple equations that fit on a single page, almost as if someone wrote them that way, almost as if the universe runs on rules because rules are what simulations run on. The code is showing. If we confirmed we were in a simulation, the first question would be, does it matter? The pain you feel is still pain. The love you feel is still love. Your memories, your identity, your sense of self, all of it functions identically whether the substrate is carbon atoms or lines of code. The simulation does not make your experience less real. It makes reality more flexible than you thought. But the existential weight would be enormous. If we are in a simulation, someone built it, someone is running it, and that someone can presumably turn it off. Every moment of your existence would carry an asterisk, not because it is not real, but because it is contingent, dependent on the continued operation of a machine you can never access, created by beings you can never meet. Your entire universe could end mid-sentence, and you would never even know it happened. The question of free will would become even more tangled. If your consciousness is a computation, are your choices genuine decisions or predetermined outputs? Either way, the experience of choosing still feels like it matters. If we are in a simulation, whoever built it had a reason. Maybe we are an ancestor simulation, a civilization recreating its own past to study its origins. Maybe we are entertainment, our triumphs and tragedies unfolding for an audience we cannot perceive. Or maybe we are a test, a moral experiment where every choice you make is the answer to a question you were built to explore. In that case, your life is not meaningless. It is the entire point. The simulation was built to see what you would do. There is an irony here that most discussions of simulation theory avoid. If we are simulated, then the beings who created us are, by any functional definition, gods. They created our universe. They defined its laws. They could be watching, intervening, or simply observing what unfolds. Simulation theory and theology might be asking the same question in different languages. Are we created? Is there purpose? Is someone watching? The answers religion has offered for millennia might be more compatible with simulation theory than either side would like to admit. Here is the thing. Even if we proved we are in a simulation, you would still have to get up tomorrow. You would still have to choose what kind of person to be. The code does not make those choices for you, or if it does, the experience of choosing still feels like yours. And maybe that experience is all that has ever mattered, because whether the universe is atoms or algorithms, the sunset is still beautiful. The music still moves you. The person sitting next to you still makes you feel less alone. The copy and the original are the same thing if the copy is complete. A perfect simulation of happiness is happiness. A perfect simulation of love is love. The substrate does not determine the meaning. You do. And that has always been true. Every moment of joy you have ever experienced was real because you experienced it. Every connection you have ever felt was genuine because you felt it. You are here. You are conscious. You are asking questions about the nature of your own existence. And that might be the most real thing of all. Not what you are made of, but the fact that whatever you are made of has become something that wonders, something that loves, something that hopes, something that reaches for meaning in the dark. What if the most profound thing about your existence is not what it is made of, but how it feels to live it? If that question stayed with you, then you are exactly who this channel was made for. Subscribe, and every week we will ask another one together.